Hey guys, Austin back here with another fragrance review. This time we got Tom Ford Noir Extreme Parfum. Little story about this one before we get into the review. I did not blind buy this one. I blind bought the first fragrance I reviewed, Versace Pour Homme. This one I smelled. Went to a Sephora because I knew I wanted to buy something. Didn't know what. I just wanted to go in, and I was pretty early in my fragrance journey. Went into Sephora, got some little paper testers, went around and smelled some stuff, found some stuff I liked. Then I came across this guy right here, sprayed it, smelled it, and it was like 11 out of 10 for me. This stuff was killer. Absolutely just lights out, really good. And of course, I'm not going to buy it from Sephora because I'm not about to spend $300 on a bottle of this, because that's what this retails for, is $300. It's quite pricey. It's Tom Ford. What do you expect? So I went on to Joma Shop, found it for $170 because they had a deal on it. So I was like, screw it. That's almost half off. I'm going to pick it up. I loved how this smelled. Week goes by. It comes in. I'm so excited. Pop it out. I was like, let's smell it. Spray it on. I hated it. I legitimately hated it. I was like, what am I smelling? Didn't smell anything like I remember it smelling at Sephora. And for those of you who watched my first review on Versace Pour Homme, you will know I made a comment and said to you, please, before you buy anything, smell it on your skin. Do not rely on a tester. I made that mistake with this fragrance right here. I'm not gonna lie, I almost looked to see if I could return it, and if I couldn't return it, I was gonna sell it. I hated it that much. However, I did not. I kept it, and I'll be honest, this stuff has grown on me a lot. I definitely appreciate it more now than when I first got it. However, the whole purpose of these videos I'm doing is I'm ranking my collection from my least favorite to my favorite. And this is the second video I've put out. So you could probably deduct this is my second least favorite of my collection. Again, it's not that it's bad, because it's not bad. I do have an appreciation for it. It's a very unique smelling fragrance. Where I struggle with this one, it's not versatile, right? It's very, the first review I did for Versace Pour Homme, that one was so versatile, it was boring. This one's the opposite. It's very interesting. It's very unique. It has a very unique scent profile, but it's niche in the idea of it's very pigeonholed into one use case. You're not wearing this to work. Ask me how I know that. This is the one and only fragrance I've ever gotten a complaint about. I work in sales to some degree, and I was wearing this one, and I was checking this lady out at the register. I wasn't like physically checking her out, and as I was checking her out, she said, "Oh my god, what is that smell?" And I didn't want to look at her and say, "Oh, sorry, it's my cologne." I was just like, "Oh, I don't know, it could be anything." It was me. And that was a hard pill to swallow, not gonna lie. Not for my own moral. I had spent 170 plus tax on this and shipping. It's not cheap, especially, and that's discounted. Like most of my fragrances, I only have one other fragrance that I paid more for than this one, which will be coming up in another video. So it was really hard to want to keep it because I've already had two negative experiences with it. It hasn't really brought me anything positive. But now that I've owned it for a while, I do have more of an appreciation for this scent. It's, with that said, it's still my second least favorite in my entire collection. So with that out of the way, let's dive into the review. How do I feel about it? I noticed in my last video, I totally skipped out on the design of the fragrance, which I guess I do like how bottle design, it's not really important for me. If it has a cheesy bottle, it is what it is. I really care about the stuff inside, but I know a lot of people do care about how their fragrances look. First, the cap, right? It's plastic. It has the Tom Ford TF on the top. It is black with the hole there, nothing special there. It has kind of like grooves built into it. The cap honestly is pretty cheap feeling. Not really high quality in my opinion. Atomizer is pretty good. I actually quite like it. Let me hold it out in front here so we can get a good spray. It's pretty decent atomizer. The bottle itself feels nice. This is the 100 ml because it wasn't that much more expensive to do 100 versus 50. It has that same texturing on the side, and then there is a T and an F again for Tom Ford. The bottom has the product information batch code, and then it says Tom Ford Noir Extreme Parfum on the front in black. Good looking bottle. With that out of the way, let us talk about the fragrance itself. So for me, this fragrance off of paper is fantastic. Like I said, 11 out of 10. Better than 10 out of 10. One of the best things I have ever smelled, honestly. You have to excuse me, I don't have any tester strips. I have some coming on Thursday in like 3 days. I have a bunch of more fragrances coming, so I think I'm going to start doing a fragrance drop Friday or something like that, Fragrance Friday, where if I have anything new coming in, I will review it on a Friday, and that'll be like new ones opposed to what's in my collection currently. And I have a few other ideas of how to get my hands on some to try to do reviews for you guys. And one of my buddies might actually be coming to do some reviews with me here soon too. But initial impression off of my Taco Bell napkin, man, it's so good. It's spicy, citrusy, definitely leather. There might be a little bit of vanilla in there too. All right, we're going to let that dry down. Off of the skin, it's probably like a 7 out of 8. It's good. It's not great. I don't pick up as much. Oh, I need to reapply it because I'm losing a little bit of the opening. Off of my skin, it's more weather forward. I lose a little bit more of the spice off of my skin, and it almost becomes kind of creamier, if that makes sense. And it's hard to pick up on that vanilla if there's any vanilla in there. It's not quite as prominent off of my skin. Let's talk about the dry down on a tester. To me, it's not very different. It loses a little bit of that citrus on the top, and it gets more... It's a little bit more warm. The spices come out a little bit more. The leather is pretty pronounced all the way through, in my opinion. It's pretty linear in that regard. Off of skin, this one, it had to grow on me, if I'm being honest. It was, realistically, this was like 4 out of 10 when I first got it off of skin. Like, I hated this stuff. I've come to appreciate it more. It's sweeter. That leather is still definitely there. Citrusy. A little bit spicy, not as much spice in versus the tester. I like it more now than I did initially when I first got it in. Off of skin, I would probably give the opening a 7 out of 10. Follows a pretty similar path as compared to the tester with the progression of the scent. The dry down is a little bit better for me. It just mellows out a little bit, in my opinion. It blends a little bit better. Just harmonize better, in my opinion, on the dry down. Definitely, like I said, it's grown on me a lot. Like I said, I would have given this a 4 out of 10, maybe a 4.5 out of 10 when I first got it in and tried it on skin. Now I'd give it probably a 7 out of 10. The hard thing with this one is it's hyper unique. It's not an everyday fragrance. You're not going to pick this up and daily drive this. It's just not, unfortunately. I'm sure someone out there does, but not for me. It's not a daily driver. It's too unique for that. This is more of like a winter time date night fragrance, in my opinion. What it's good for, it's unique, it's intimate, masculine. It does have some florals in here, which might be a little bit of that creaminess that I'm getting out of it. It's definitely a date night oriented fragrance. You're not really meant to wear this. This is special occasion kind of stuff. You know? With that in mind, let's talk about performance. It's a beast. This stuff performed incredibly well. I mean, it's a parfum. You would hope it would perform incredibly well, and it sure lives up to being a parfum. It is easily 8+ hours on my skin, and it projects really well for quite a while after you spray it. For the first few hours, 3 to 4 hours, like, you'd probably pick this up a few feet away. It's that strong. First few hours, it gets a little bit closer to the skin. Which is normal. Most fragrances will do that, so I'm not going to knock at any points for that. Definitely loses a little bit of performance as it dries down. Once you hit the dry down, a few hours later, it's not like a skin scent, but it's definitely more intimate, like arm distance. It's about as far as people are going to smell it. It's not a room filler at that point. When you first spray it on, you got to be careful with the sprays because you can definitely fill a room with this stuff if you're not careful. It's very strong. Not red tobacco strong, not Mancera levels of strong, but it is pretty strong. As far as longevity, like I was saying, I get 8+ hours. There have been times that I've worn this and I've woken up the next morning still smelling it, albeit faintly, but you can still pick it up. Now let's talk about cost, because everyone's like, cool, cool, I like it. What should I pay for it? Well, Tom Ford, they're really proud of what they got. Their stuff is usually pricey, especially if you're looking into private blend. Tom Ford's is not a private blend as far as I'm aware. It's not, it doesn't come in that bottle, so I don't think it's a private blend. It's still pricey, however. On Tom Ford's website, it goes for $300. Don't pay $300 for this. Like, you're probably going to pull this stuff out a few times a year in the fall and winter if you're lucky, on date night once a week, if your significant other really likes it. So at best you might be wearing this 24 times in a year. For something this big, 100 mils, you're getting 500 sprays out of this. I wouldn't spray more than 6 times with this, probably less than that, honestly. You use it like that, this thing's going to last you 5+ years. I wouldn't spend that kind of money on it, to be honest. However, if you can pick it up at discounters, like I did, I picked mine up at Joma Shop. That's my preferred discounter. Feel free to use whichever discounter you like. But currently on Joma Shop, it retails, or it goes for about, I think, $170, which is a pretty steep cut. Almost half off, right? That brings the price from $3 per milliliter to $1.70 per milliliter, which, don't get me wrong, that's still really expensive. It's more justifiable for sure if you really like this stuff. So yeah, I think that'll do it for this review. My overall consensus on this, Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, I'd give this one like 7, maybe a 6. Yeah, I'll do 6.5 out of 10. It's good, but it's too hyper unique for me. And yeah, would I recommend it? Yes and no. If you like leather fragrances that are unique and you want to smell different, this is that. It will smell different with this. Absolutely, no question asked. But at the same time, be careful with it, because it is strong, it is powerful. And like I said, this is the only fragrance I've gotten a negative response from. If you want something hyper unique that's interesting and you really like how this DNA smells, why not? I think it's worth $170 if you really enjoy it. Would I buy it again? Probably not. I don't think I would purchase this one again if given the opportunity. So I personally would not recommend it to the average buyer. So that's all I have to say about Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. If you like the video, please comment, like, share, and usual. I'm going to be making another video. This time we are going to be covering a Lattafa fragrance. However, it is not a clone fragrance. This is, I think it's Bad Oud, Honor and Glory is the name of it. That is the next fragrance I shall be covering. So if you want to see that one when it comes out, probably tomorrow, go ahead and hit that bell and get notifications turned on so you'll know when I put the video up.